Jay, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. I got a friend joining us as well.
Yes,
here.
right over here.
Let's have him.
There she comes.
Yep, there we go.
Wow, you bring a crew with you, Jay.
That's exactly right. We got a whole team here, and that's why.
Tell me who this young lady is.
Her name is Kirstie Ennis, and she's one of our partners here, Emerging Vets and Players. Kirstie here, a Marine who has been through an awful lot serving our country, and 44 surgeries, and now she is the 5th-ranked snowboarder in the world. She's kind of a big deal around here, and on her 3rd Masters, and she is. We've put this foundation together, MVP, Emerging Vets and Players. So we take our former combat veterans, where all of a sudden you're not on a team. You have something happens overseas, and you're injured. Your team it's done, and that's hard for a lot of people. And same with our players. All of a sudden, you take the uniform off, and they're like, "Oh man, I'm alone." So we're trying to show them you're not alone. You're different, and different's good. And a lot of our vets look at it like, "Oh, I'm different. I don't fit in." Yeah, you're different. You're not like the rest of us. So if you give them a team again of the Kirstie Ennis's of the world, the Nate Boyers of the world, and our ex-players as well, and you match them up, it's a much better way to get through the transition. And either if you're struggling through the transition to get through it, or now we're starting to empower people and get much higher levels as a civilian, if you will, than we ever could have imagined.
Kirstie, what does this connection do for you, and what did you go through?
A lot of people tell me that I'm strong. That's not the truth. I'm part crazy, part stubborn, but a lot of my strength, that especially that I've pulled in my recovery, has come from the guys at MVP. I've had a long, hard road. 4 years ago, June 23rd, 2012, on my last deployment to Afghanistan, while serving as a helicopter door gunner, my helicopter went down. And as a result of the crash, I've lost my left leg above the knee. I've had 44 surgeries to repair everything from a traumatic brain injury to spinal cord damage and so on. And, it's been a blessing and a curse. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but it's brought some really amazing people into my life, and I have used them, honestly, to push myself forward. I wouldn't be where I am without them.
I mean, you guys have all been around great athletes and Hollywood and all this, and you've seen what we think is great. There's nothing like her. Like, she is the most next-level human being I've ever been around in my life. Made me a better person, everything that I've tried to do, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have a team like this again, and too many of our vets come home thinking that they're alone, they're different. They're not. There's millions of them, and we're trying to get to change that vernacular. And her being different, that's a good thing. Right. She's not like the rest of us, and there's a lot of them out there who are like that, and they just think that they're alone, and that's not good to have anybody think that they're alone. So if you give them a team together, you can get through anything. And it goes for both sides.
And they come back from that physically, but what's tougher, the physical aspect of coming back or the mental aspect of coming back? The invisible wounds are the most detrimental, the most debilitating, mentally and emotionally. It's hard for anybody to come back from anything. Not saying my injuries are any worse than anybody else's. Everyone's lost a parent. I've been through something devastating. But to come home after being in a war zone and feel like you've lost, that sense of brotherhood, I mean, you do. You feel like, in complete, confinement. And when I walked into the gym, Unbreakable Gym, and got a part of MVP, my eyes were opened. Everybody was trusting one another again. Everybody was willing to let their guard down at the end of this workout. I mean, we're telling things that we haven't told people in years. And so by doing that and reconnecting with people, reconnecting with my military brothers and sisters, I mean, that's honestly when I truly healed.
Up until the crash, do you think, had the crash not happened and it was your last deployment and you'd come home, do you still think you would have been dealing with your share of mental trauma, and this, of course, just made it so much worse? Or was it was the mental stuff mostly the results of the crash itself?
No, there's things that everybody's going to come back with, whether you were injured physically. You do things and you see things over that you have to justify sometimes on a daily basis. Now, with the physical side of things, I was in with a lot of pain, obviously, and pain doesn't just affect you physically; it affects you mentally and emotionally, and that broke me down. I felt like my Marine Corps career was stripped away from me, and I joined the Marine Corps at 17, so that was my whole world, that was my dream. And then so now, going through this recovery yet again, I felt like my dream of going to the Olympics or the Paralympics was gone, and I mean, it was honestly just blow after blow with the helicopter crash. So
Now, Kirstie, obviously, you see Jay's in great shape, but I would say you're probably tougher than Jay, right?
By far.
Oh, absolutely.
Not even close. Hey, she's meaner than me. She's tougher than me. She's she's obviously one of the most beautiful women you'll ever see, inside and outside. But I wouldn't fight her. No, she'd destroy me.
All right, Kirstie, who do you like Sunday? Are you a football fan?
I am a football fan, and you know what? Not that I have anything against the Patriots. I'm just tired of seeing them.
Well, you made a friend here with Peter.
So I'm honestly rooting for the Falcons.
All right, so Jay, how about you? What do you?
Hey, we're doing the game, man. So I luckily don't get to predict, which is phenomenal. But this is. I think this. Man, I don't know. This is my 23rd Super Bowl, something along those lines. And for us to be out here broadcasting it for Fox, you know what? I always get to the point, because I'm not a world-class athlete. I'm not, like Kirstie was able to have all these masters and be an Olympic athlete. I never, ever, ever forget that I'm just a little slappy that happened to outwork the world, and said a long time ago when I started covering the Giants, I will be the last dude standing. And I'm going to go after everything I can and be relentless and outwork the world. And every single time I do one of these things, I literally take a little step over by myself and look up and say, thank you, God Almighty. I can't believe I'm here. And it will never get old. And the whole act like you've been there, screw that, man. I'm like, I haven't. I can't believe I'm here.